We're going to talk about the spiritual battleground and the lessons learned. And I'm going to start with the quote from Matthew 12:34-36. It says, "For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh." So the Lord is looking at their heart by their words, what's coming out. And obviously, he wanted to make a point about their mouth with all those quail. And he's continuing to make a point about what they're doing with their mouth and how they're using it. So it's a very important lesson to us of how we use our words, what they mean, and how they affect other people. In chapter 12, Aaron and Miriam, Moses' brother and sister. Do you have a brother and sister? Do you have a special relationship, or is it a war zone? This is turning into a very unusual relationship because they confront Moses, and they're complaining. And we see this little thing here. It kind of comes to the forefront. It's a word, we kind of don't know it. We don't talk about it much. Envy. Envy. Now, we don't really think about it much, but envy is simply, starts with the eyes. It's simply, and it kind of goes through the brain here. Sorry, the ears aren't too good. Anyway, it kind of goes between the brain and the eyes, and it's a thought process, and it starts, and it goes to the heart eventually. And if we don't watch it, it can turn out to jealousy. Now, envy is simply that you feel displeasure that somebody has something better than you have. They are prosperous. They have a relationship that you don't have. And so this little envy guy comes to the forefront. And this is what's happening in this circumstance. Miriam has been Moses, she's been over him because she's the one that was there when he was in the basket and rescued and everything. Well, she has a special relationship with Moses. So does Aaron. And so all of a sudden, Moses gets married. Now, somehow they decided that was their business. But I think God probably was supposed to be in charge of that. And it probably was one of those areas that we would label none of their business, actually. So what happens is they confront and they complain. And they say to Moses, "Has Yahweh spoken to Moses only? Has he not spoken to us too?" Well, Moses was the person in charge. God had given that anointing for that position. So they're kind of putting themselves level with Moses to a certain extent. And there was this jealousy of, okay, Miriam probably has lots of people talking to her, giving her the ear so she can talk to Moses for them and put different policies into effect. So this whole thing is about that. And the Lord did something that he does a lot. He's instantly he had Moses and Aaron and Miriam, and he has them come to the tent right away. He doesn't wait. Right away, they're there at the tent. And when they get to the tent, of course, the pillar of the cloud comes down. The presence of the Lord is there. And he talks to them. He says about Moses, he is at home in my house. I speak with him face to face, plainly and not in riddles, and he sees the form of Yahweh. Now, I've never heard of anyone else in the Bible that's been told that they have a face-to-face relationship with the Lord. They normally don't even see any part of the Lord. But Moses has been there when he's passed by. So he says, he says, well, here he is. I called Moses and the Lord the zapper. So the Lord zapped Miriam for doing this, for complaining. And Moses, typical leader, he's praying. He says, Lord, please heal her. So the Lord healed her, but there was a consequence. The consequence is that she was to be outside the tent area and the dwellings for 7 days. Now, why did he do that? I mean, that's kind of hard. And she was his sister after all. But there were several things going on about the mouth. One, she was complaining. Two, he had to stop the complaining. He had to stop the source of possible gossip. That's not good. We know that. We've been in organizations where a person with their mouth has destroyed it. They just talk to this person and that person and that person. Or if you were a child in school, you probably played the game. Did you play gossip? No? Some of you did. Well, you sit around in a group and you start a story on one side, and then everybody tells each other down the line, and by the time they get to the other part, it isn't anywhere near the story. So the Lord had to stop that process. He also had to stop complaining. The Lord always gives me these things to work on me too. So the main issue here was complaining. The Lord took action. It was an issue of the mouth, but it actually was envy, jealousy, starting and going, not even going through the heart in their relationship with Moses. So I guess the Lord is mainly saying, I'm going to get them to stop complaining and watch what they say and who they say it to, because we got to be a group. We're going together, and we can't go forward if there's complaining, if there's people being jealous, if their hearts are not in the wrong place. So the Lord is actually still working on their heart.